Thank you. And I know Kyle has so much to share with us today, so let's use our time wisely. So I'll skip the intro music. We're gonna go crazy.
Yeah, oh, okay.
You want to do it?
Let's roll. No, let's roll.
Okay. Okay, go ahead, Christina.
Welcome, everybody. It's been literally 3 months since we've met. The last hug was in November. So let me just say Happy New Year, Happy Valentine's Day. And I hope you're getting spring wherever you are. Today, we're very excited and much anticipated. Mr. Kyle Jepson. He is a senior HubSpot inbound professor, and he is an education powerhouse. So we're really excited to have him as part of the hug for today. And also on the hug, as per usual, Latal Barkin, our CEO here at Matter Marketing, who also nerds out on HubSpot education and collecting Starbucks mugs. Myself,
True.
I am the SVP of strategy here at Matter, and really the only thing I can think of that I can share that we haven't shared on past hugs is I live to eat more than I eat to live. There we go.
And Alex, not in San Diego. I'm in LA, but I'll pretend to be from San Diego. That's for many points.
Well, yeah, okay. You're in
okay. And I'm just gonna do a shout out to whoever's not following Kyle on LinkedIn. It really must. He does these super cool videos, and just the information is incredible. So, anybody want to introduce themselves? Say hi, where you're from, what you want to learn about today. Feel free to unmute yourself.
Hi.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Can hear you beautifully.
Okay, I'm Stepan. I'm from Croatia. Live and work in Croatia.
Welcome. Good evening.
Croatia.
HubSpot team lead for DR online solutions, and happy to be here. Thanks.
Brilliant.
Awesome. Glad you're here.
Thanks for joining so late. I know
I'm gonna guess you win the biggest time difference award.
Yeah, but I'm working Eastern Standard Time, so I'm used to it. So don't worry.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I think that's cool. That's a hard shift. Your days are nights, your nights are days.
Yes.
I just want to say hi. I'm Jacob. I work for ETC. We're a lighting manufacturer, and we just came on board HubSpot a month or so ago, and I'm HubSpot lead. So I'm just diving in and learning as much as I can. So great to be here.
Where are you, Jacob, in the world?
Based in LA. Our office is in Burbank. So
okay.
like beautiful downtown Burbank.
Very nice.
Very nice. And Michael Emery, head of consultant for Matter Marketing, also located in Southern California in beautiful Palm Springs. So not San Diego, but in the beautiful, arid, dry desert of Palm Springs. I know you guys are jealous. Sorry about that, but it just is what it is.
And I'm in Atlanta.
Close to Omi. Omi, you want to say hi?
Hi, I'm in Miami. So yeah, great weather here today as well.
I mean, close by LA standards. All right, you guys. So Christina, you want to take us to our...
Yeah, we like to do these little get-togethers, a little icebreaker. And I know everybody's got a story. I argue that you always remember your worst sales experience more than your best, but let's hit the ground running. Please share what you think your worst or best, and I'll start it off. My worst sales experience is the one I just recently experienced last November when I did an upgrade on my phone. And I went to pick up the phone, and the dude walked me through all the features of the iPhone, the new one. And after each feature, tried to upsell me something. And I was just going to lose my mind. I just wanted to get the phone and get out the door. And I actually said to his face, I'm not interested in anything. And he kept going. just like whoever trained this man needs to go back to their own sales training course.
Needs to meet Kyle.
Oh my days. So that's mine.
I will offer the most recent sales experience, which can be, I think, anybody on the other side, the marketing agency side, a little frustrating. I liken it to The Bachelor, an episode of The Bachelor where, you know, you go through this long courtship process, right? Simon Sinek says it's the sales is like dating someone, and you provide all the resources and you have all the good conversations and meetings, and then, like so many other times, like every other bachelorette who doesn't get a rose, you're standing on the podium, missing out on the opportunity because the client decides to go with somebody else. So, wah, wah, wah.
Mine is everybody in Southern California probably relates to this. The solar guys that walk around the neighborhood. It's like 6:30. I have two small kids under three. The 3-year-old is saying he's not going to eat this for dinner. I'm holding the 6-month-old who's crying, and he still proceeds to sell to me.
Oh.
And I said, "Is this a good? I know this doesn't look like a good time," and then proceeded to continue. I was just kind of like, "This is not a good time." And no, you shouldn't come back. I already have solar. I don't want more.
Read the room.
Right? Just look at the roof.
Those-
It's right there. You can see it.
Yeah. Yeah. It must work, because everybody, as soon as I said that, everybody said like, "Yep, I get him too." They keep doing it. I don't know.
But we're just in the neighborhood working on one of your neighbors' houses, right?
Do you know John? John just did this. Yeah.
All right. Anybody else have anything to share? Okay.
No. Okay, not today. So to the agenda, Latal.
The agenda. So we are basically just going to hand it over to the expert, and Kyle's going to lead us through Frictionless Sales, through all the news in Operations Hub, and hopefully just a lot of time for you to ask all of your questions about all things sales and marketing and HubSpot and operations and all that good stuff. At the end, we'll just take the last couple of minutes for kind of a three-way giveaway. Everybody will get an opportunity to get some HubSpot swag. We are going to give away a $50 gift card to a lucky random person who's here at the end. And then we are also going to award to the best question of the day a free pass to Inbound, to the HubSpot conference this year. And then at the end, as we always do, we'll send you a quick link to a survey to tell us what you want to hear from our next hugs, topics, etc. So, Mr. Jepson, all yours. I'm going to stop sharing so that you can start.
Don't worry, I'm going to share the exact same slide so the cute baby will come back. I know that's all anybody wants. I have got to say, I am so excited for this hug. I've done a lot of hugs, but this is the first time that a hug leader has basically said, "Kyle, just come and talk about whatever you want." And that feels great. So we sent out a survey. We saw the results, and there was a lot of frictionless sales, and there was a lot of Operations Hub, and there's a lot of just miscellaneous questions. And so my reaction is, these are all my favorite things, and I'm going to talk about all of them. I'm so excited to show you just a couple of cool features. I can talk about HubSpot forever. If those of you who are on LinkedIn with me know, I post videos almost daily of all the cool things I find in HubSpot, all the cool things that are coming out. So I have tried to pick just a few things I'm really excited about, and I'll show those to you, but I really want the Ask Me Anything section of this to be the biggest part of it. And even before we get there, if you have questions, by all means, feel free to interrupt me, feel free to ask. I'm the youngest of 6 kids, so if nobody interrupts me, I don't know how to stop talking. So without further ado, let's talk about Sales Hub a little bit. Sales Hub has been around for a while, but there are a few things when we think about frictionless selling, and so much of Sales Hub is just like designed to make salespeople want to use the CRM, make it a tool for them instead of a task that gets added to their daily load. And so I just want to go deep on the deal board. The deal board is like the most basic fundamental part of Sales Hub, but it's gotten some cool features in the past couple of years that I think lots of people don't know exist. So I'm going to show you how to do some color coding on the deal board. I'm going to talk about required properties. I'm going to talk about playbooks, and I'm going to talk about workflows and how you can pull all these things together to build a pretty frictionless sales process. So let's see if this works. All right, can you see my deal board? Did that work?
Yep.
That was smooth. I'm so proud of myself right now. Okay, so here we are on the deal board. So the if you haven't seen this, the columns here represent the stages of your sales process, and at a minimum, you should be customizing those. Change the number, change the names, make them match the actual required necessary steps your sales reps have to go through to help someone decide to buy from you. And then once your deals are here, you can just drag and drop them from one stage to the next, like so. It's a very nice visual layout. But you'll notice we have these color-coded dots now. For any given deal, we have a deal priority. And so if you have a high priority deal or a low priority deal, however you want to define that, each rep can do this for themselves. They can just choose a colored button. This one's medium, and they can save it. And then you get little dots, right? And you can sort this. There's a sort option under board actions. And so you can sort by deal priority. So create date, I think, is the default, which is fine, I guess, if you care about your oldest or newest deals. But you can just do priority, and you can do high to low or low to high. And then chwa-cha. My computer struggles with Zoom, so sound effects help it seem like it's going faster. Ta-da! Now they're sorted, right? The mediums are above the lows, the highs are at the top. So this can help your reps kind of visualize where they want to focus their efforts. In addition to that, so this is the manual aspect, right? This relies on the reps' own personal opinions of what their most important deals are, which may or may not be correct. But if you go to this edit deals option under the board actions, we have this inactive cards option. And you can just slide this on, and you can choose what the window is, right? After 3 days or 3 weeks, or you can change this number to whatever you want. Deals are going to get grayed out if they've been sitting for a certain amount of time. So yeah, I said this is a high priority deal, but I haven't touched it in a while. So either there's a mismatch there, or man, I need to pay some attention here. This part is automated. It's not your deals. It's not your reps' intuitions and opinions. It's the actual data inside the CRM. So just using these little techniques gives your reps a way, especially if you have a lot of deals on your deal board, to kind of cut through the noise and figure out what deals are getting forgotten, what deals they need to focus on, that sort of thing. So I would say at a basic level, this is what a deal board should look like. This is getting pretty good. To take it to the next level, I highly recommend including required properties. So if we edit the deal stages for this board, so again, just board actions, we're going to edit the stages. You get taken to this settings page, and this is the deals settings page. It takes you to the pipeline section, and for each pipeline, you can edit the stages separately. But this is so the deal stages, again, you can rename them, you can reorder them, you can add and remove however you want. I highly recommend, just a little tip here, having your stages in the past tense so that your reps know when a deal should not move into that column until that action has been completed, right? Until the appointment is scheduled, or until the demo is done. That way, there's no confusion over what it means for a deal to be in a particular column. But what required properties does is lets you take that a level deeper, right? So demo completed, maybe during that demo, there are certain things you require or encourage your reps to collect, right? Maybe you want to know the date of the demo. Maybe you want them to schedule a second meeting. Maybe, what did I call it? There's like a top, these are custom properties I've created, right? So what's going to happen now when a deal is moved into this column, there's going to be a little pop-up window that will collect this stuff. And if you want to require them, you just check these boxes. The difference between required and not required, either way, the pop-up will come and ask for the information. If it's not required, then the reps can just close out of the modal and still move the deal there. If it is required, if they don't fill it in, the deal will scuttle back to its previous column. So I can just show you real quick what this looks like. If we save this and go back to my pipeline here real quick. Then you'll get a sense of this. I believe while I'm waiting for this to load, the required properties function is a paid feature. I forget if it's in Starter or Pro, but just adding the properties is, I believe, not. So now that we are here, if I move this this deal over to demo completed, you will see, ta-da, our pop-up here. And if I try to skip it, I can't. And if I just X out, it doesn't actually move. It stays here. So this is going to make sure your reps are actually taking the steps they need, collecting the information that's required at each stage of the sales process. And I got to caution you here, don't just make hoops for your reps to jump through for the sake of better reporting or something. Make sure if you're going to require a property, it is somehow integral to the sales process that you're going through. Otherwise, your reps will just get frustrated and stop using the CRM.
So Kyle, these features that you've covered to this point, are they available in Pro?
Yes, I'm confident they're all in Pro. This next one, Playbooks, is currently an enterprise feature. There are those of us at HubSpot who are campaigning pretty hard to get it pulled down to Pro. No promises on a timeline there, but I would be a much happier HubSpotter if Playbooks in some form or another was in Pro because of what I'm about to show you. So if, like I said, you don't want those required properties to be an additional burden to your reps. You want them to somehow serve your reps. But the thing that's really cool about Playbooks is a tool that lets you give basically like a little script or a guideline that your reps can follow while they're in a call or in a meeting. And if we look at, I believe, my demo outline here, what you can do is this pops up, and on a most basic level, the playbook is great because it's interactive, right? Like, what are your top initiatives at your company right now? And the person says, oh yeah, well, we're trying to cut some costs, and employee retention has been a problem, and customer retention has been a bit of an issue too. And this is just interaction, right? Instead of your reps having to take notes, instead of them having to remember the questions you want them to ask, they're just here. But the thing that's really cool is you can connect these to properties in your CRM, right? So this, when did this demo happen, is connected to that date of demo property. And so as I go through and I check these boxes and I do these things and like, oh yeah, when can you meet again? Okay, next week, perfect, same time, sounds good. I can log this call, and it's going to get saved here on the timeline like you would expect. But also now, if we go back and try to move this deal to that stage, there is no additional step for the sales rep. That pop-up will still come, but it will be filled in because I've already done this work. So all I have to do is give it a quick review. Yep, that looks good. That matches what I thought. Save. Now it is not an additional step for me as a sales rep anymore. It's all built into this process. If I followed the playbook, done the call the way I'm supposed to, I can have confidence that I can move it to the next step without having to worry about it. So this is where the magic of Sales Hub and all the features kind of working together starts to become manifest. There's often a tension between like, management wants reps doing these things and collecting this information, but the reps just want to do a good job selling and make some money. When you start using the features in this way, everybody wins, and everybody gets what they want, which is kind of the whole idea of this thing we call frictionless sales, right? We want it to be easier for the sales rep. We want it to be easier for the person buying. We want everyone to be aligned and pulling in the same direction, so there isn't this adversarial relationship between the rep and management. And certainly we don't want an adversarial relationship between the rep and their customer. So those are kind of inside the deal board, the things you can do to start building that process. I mentioned workflows too. The place you can really take this to the next level is with workflows, which is HubSpot's automation tool. What I've seen some customers starting to do is they will create a workflow based on contact or company properties that will update deal properties. And so maybe, when you get to demo completed, you require that the company has, their industry, their annual revenue. Maybe you require, a certain number of contacts or contacts to have a certain relationship with the company. You can do that and have workflows powering that and updating deal properties, and then just kind of have that all happening in the background. Your reps never have to worry about it. They're still required properties. So if they try to move the deal into the stage and, the company's industry isn't known, it will alert them to that. But hopefully, if the process is working well, then it all updates automatically and the rep never has to do anything. But again, management and operations get all the data they need to be able to report and forecast the way they want. So,
where's Billy? There she is.
So what? Oh, okay. So that's just kind of what I've been thinking about a lot lately with Sales Hub, how these different things can work together to make everybody's lives easier. Without increasing the burden on the reps, the management gets the reporting they want without, causing any friction at all. So those are some of my favorite things about Sales Hub right now. Let's talk about Operations Hub. Operations Hub has been out almost a year now. And when I first came on board with Operations Hub and started understanding it as it was still developing, and they were asking me to create some education around it, I spent a long time saying, I don't get it. Like, what is this hub, right? And I have found since it launched, and even it's been out almost a year now, a lot of our users and customers and prospects are saying the same thing. I don't get it. Like, I understand what Sales Hub is. I understand what Marketing Hub is. I understand what Service Hub is. CMS, it all makes sense. But then Operations Hub just seems much more nebulous. But I get it now. And I'm so excited to tell you kind of the way I understand Operations Hub, and it helps you make more sense of it too. So the real question here is what is Operations Hub? And just to go through a few quick slides here, working through the different tiers of Operations Hub. In the free version of Operations Hub, you get data sync. And since it's in the free version, that means if you're a HubSpot user, you have data sync. So data sync is, we have over 1,000 integrations now, but data sync has over 100 integrations, which are real-time two-way syncs. So if something gets updated in HubSpot or the external system you're connected to, the other one gets updated right away. It's syncing roughly every 5 minutes, day in and day out, so that you have real-time connections instead of like one-time or trigger-based syncs. And so this is growing really rapidly. I think when we first launched data sync, we had like 20 integrations, and now less than a year later, we have over 100. I say about 104 here because that's what it was when I updated this slide yesterday, but they're always adding new ones. It's growing all the time. So I definitely recommend checking out the data sync integrations. They're super fun to set up. And in the free version, you get the basic integrations. And then when you move to starter, you can do custom field mapping. So if you want to change where the information is routing to, you can do that. Then moving up to the professional tier of Operations Hub, mostly in the professional tier, you have a lot of upgrades for workflows. So one is data quality automation, which allows you to format the data in your properties in a variety of ways. And I'm gonna demo that one to you because I love it so much. So instead of talking about it now, I'll just circle back to it later for my demo. Another is programmable automation. You can now create fully custom workflow actions. So if there's ever been a time you thought to yourself, oh, I just need workflows to do this thing that it doesn't do, there's no reason to think that anymore. You can program your own custom code actions, and you can use like API calls and a lot of different things to basically build on the fly integrations or crunch numbers or do calculations or whatever you want. You can program in either Node.js or Python, whatever you prefer, and really unlock a workflow that does whatever you need it to do to power your business. Scheduled automation is a fairly new addition. This just got added a few months ago to Operations Hub. You can schedule workflows to go on a regular cadence. So if you want it on the first of the month, or if you want it every 2 weeks, or if you want it on the last day of the month, or whatever you want, you can make your workflows run on a regular cadence for whatever processes you have that happen on a regular basis, as opposed to being triggered by a particular action. And then finally, in the top tier in enterprise, we have data sets. And I am a huge fan of data sets. I've been talking about them a lot on LinkedIn lately. If you've ever used HubSpot's custom report builder, then you've almost certainly felt the pain of getting in there and then just having an endless scroll of all the properties in your entire CRM, and you're hunting around trying to find the right one. And if you have a lot of custom properties, maybe they aren't named super clearly, and it's just tough. And especially for like sales managers and marketing managers and people who reporting isn't really their full-time job, but they have to do some reporting, it's really hard to sift through all that, even if your data is fairly well organized. So what data sets let you do is curate a set of properties that people can then build reports on. And so it's really cool how you can just like choose, I want this deal property and this company property and these contact properties, and that's going to be the list of properties you can choose from for your report. But data sets actually goes a level deeper and lets you add custom fields also. And instead of being custom properties that will then clutter up your CRM elsewhere, these are just fields that exist inside this data set, and the reports that are built on top of it. And so if you just want a static number, right? We have a benchmark of 200 for something. You can just create a field that's 200. Or if you think of basically any formula you might use in Excel when you're building a report, they're in there, right? So if you want to calculate the difference between two dates, or if you want to do some conditional logic, you can just add them to your data set. And then whoever uses that data set to build a report will have access to not only the properties from the CRM that you've selected, but also these custom formula fields that you've created. So it's really powerful, and it's so much fun. It's pretty easy to use, and you can get whatever data you need to build your report. So that's kind of the main feature in the enterprise tier of Operations Hub. And so these are all cool features, but as Operations Hub was being developed, the reason I kept saying I don't get it is I didn't sense a theme. Like, how are any of these things related to each other? What makes this a hub? And what I've come to understand in the past year is that it's the combination of these that are really powerful, right? So if you have data sync that is syncing data real time between HubSpot and a bunch of other apps, and then you have data quality automation, formatting and cleaning up the data inside those properties, then what's going to happen is not only will HubSpot have clean data, but all the data from all your systems in whatever format, right? If all the name capitalizations are all over the place, or if the dates are formatted in different ways, they'll come through, they'll get cleaned up and standardized, and then they'll go back out to those systems. So HubSpot will be your hub, it'll be your source of truth, it'll have all this clean data, but that cleanliness will extend into your entire tech stack also. And so you start having clean, consistent data everywhere, not just in HubSpot. Super powerful. Similarly, data quality automation can clean up things before you send emails and sequences, or you can use programmable automation to make deals rotate in different ways. And then data sets and reporting can make it clean. And so what you get is with data sync making all your systems connected, and then programmable automation and data quality automation making all your data clean and consistent, not just in HubSpot, but in all your systems. Then you have data sets to help you report on all that, and you start to have this really cohesive central hub of data inside HubSpot that is representative of your entire business, whether you're using external tools or not. And that's kind of the vision of Operations Hub, that for an operations person or an operations-minded person, even if it's not your job title, it can be really hard to get the data clean and consistent and in the right place to be able to report and say anything intelligent about how your business is doing. Operations Hub seeks to solve that problem. So that's the idea of Operations Hub. Like I said, I want to demo data quality automation for you, just to show you what this tool does. So just real quick, I've got this is a meeting link, a booking page, and let's say people are going to come and they're going to choose. They want to visit one of my offices. I happen to have an office in New York City and one in London, just randomly selected places. And I'm a great customer that you should be really excited to meet with. But I have a real hard time with keyboards, and I just sometimes get everything backwards, right? Or maybe I'm a kind of customer who just feels a little crazy today and just wants to mess with you, right? And I'm gonna just do every other one, right? So what we can do is have a workflow. No fancy tricks this time. I'll actually have to navigate to my workflows that cleans this up. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to have a workflow that's not just going to scrub and clean the capitalization on the first and last name field before I send a confirmation email saying, here's when your meeting is. But I'm also going to take it a step further. I don't know who I think I'm kidding. I can't talk and type at the same time. Let me just get this pulled up. So here is my workflow. And cool tip number one, meeting links are basically just HubSpot forms. And so you can use them in the exact same way you use HubSpot forms. It's a form submission to enroll people in a workflow. Little known fact that is just another great thing about HubSpot being one really consistent interconnected system. And then we're going to set them as a marketing contact so we can send them a marketing email. Nothing super interesting there. But here is where data quality automation comes in. So let's just edit this real quick. This is what the format data action looks like. So first we're going to choose what property we want to format. In this case, it's first name. And then we have so many different things you can do to this property. And in this case, I'm going to change them all to lowercase, and then I'm also going to capitalize the first letter, just to make sure it doesn't look goofy in the email. But there are lots of different things you can do here. You can change a date format, or you can add time to a date. You can use format data action from Operations Hub to, for example, if a deal closes, you could take the close date, you could add 1 year to it, or 11 months, or whatever you want, and say, hey, this is when it's time for a renewal. And that is just a very simple thing to do with this action that would be very difficult without it. But in this case, just going to fix the capitalization of the name. And then I'm going to do some branching logic here, right? Remember on that form, I said I'm either visiting New York City or I'm visiting London. And the thing about the US and the UK is we format our dates differently. And so we can do a little branching logic, and we can make the confirmation email format the date based on the location, right? So this is the most technical part of the format data thing. You do have to understand a little bit of crazy coding. This is Hubble, but there's this very nice learn more button. I don't know Hubble at all. I only vaguely understand what Hubble is, but I was able to click this learn more button, see a very helpful bit of documentation, and it helped me work out the formatting here so that if we go to my email now, we will see I have received a couple of confirmation emails. If I can figure out where okay, well, now it's getting embarrassing.
That's all right. So I have a question while you're
Great.
sorting that out.
Yeah, ask away.
Like, when all the property choices about, first letter, uppercase, second, what if the name is McBride?
So this is the hard question that people ask me all the time. And we don't have a good solution for that right now. In general, what I recommend is, and I can go back and show you my workflow that this is what I'm doing here. I'm only standardizing the capitalization of the first name, and that's all I'm going to include in the email. The rest, I just kind of leave alone because I'm not ever going to share the last name externally. And if it is a mixed something or an O'Neill, or really it's mostly, I guess, Ireland that causes us problems, come to think of it.
Well,
then I don't want to risk messing that up, So
Hyphenated names too, though.
Huh?
Hyphenated names would have that problem too.
Yes, they definitely could. And so I don't know. Yes, Scotland too. I don't know if this is something we're working on a solution to. It would get pretty complicated, I think, to try to make specific exceptions. But as far as I know, there's no place in the world that consistently does weird capitalization of first names. And so I think that's the main area to play around with this. Are you now seeing my Gmail?
Yep.
Great. So you can see nothing up my sleeve. It is 2:38 here in Boston. These emails came 4 minutes ago. So here is one. You can see Kyle is now beautifully first letter uppercase. And then this must be the one that was in the US, because Thursday, March 31st, 2022, we have 8:00 p.m. Looks great. But if we look at my other one, which is also, hey, Kyle, this one is 24-hour clock, and this is Friday, 1st of April, 2022, because that's what they do in London. And all of this was just done with that data quality, that data formatting action inside Operations Hub. So that's a cool trick, I think is a lot of fun. It really opens up a lot of possibilities that without Operations Hub are pretty tricky to get. And one thing I want to mention here really quick before I move on to the AMA section is that Operations Hub by itself, like I'm an educator, I'm not a salesperson. I feel like Operations Hub is a bit expensive. Like, if I'm being totally frank, if you're just like, I would really like to be able to standardize the capitalization of names, and you look at the price of Operations Hub Professional, it would be kind of crazy to pay for it that much. But we have this, I forget what it's called, but like the CRM platform package where you get all 5 hubs of any given tier. And that is essentially the cost of 2, almost 3 hubs. So if you already have Sales Hub Professional and Marketing Hub Professional, if you go to that package, you basically get CMS Professional, Service Professional, Operations Professional for free. So if you decide you want Operations Hub, I would definitely recommend going that way. And then you get all the hubs, and that's awesome. But if you are thinking, I want to buy Operations Hub, and you go and look at the price tag and you're like, wow, this is not worth it, know that my heart is with you. So those are the few cool tricks I prepared demos for. Honestly, I'm demoing stuff on LinkedIn all the time, so I could fill all this space with all my favorite things. There's a cool thing about importing I just posted today that I think you should all check out, but go to LinkedIn and check out my video. I want to know what your questions are. What can I show you? What can I answer for you? Doesn't have to be in my lane. I want you to think of me as I'm just a guy here from HubSpot. So if you have any questions about HubSpot, anything, ask away. And if I don't know the answer off the top of my head, I'll give you my email address. We can connect offline. I can connect you to someone who knows the answer. But I want you to take advantage of me being here. You're basically one step removed from everyone in HubSpot right now. So anything you want to know, anything that's bugging you, anything that's confusing you, let me have it. I'm here to help. I'm going to stop sharing my screen, but I'm happy to bring the screen share back up if there's anything else you want to see in the product. So what have you got?
Okay. Now this is where I say Bueller. Bueller. Anybody have a question that they'd be interested in turning on their microphone for?
I kind of have a question. Hi, Kyle.
Hello.
So just to clarify, the demo you just did with the capitalization and the date, that requires the pro version of Ops Hub?
Yes.
Okay.
But both the name capitalization and the date formatting use that same data format action. There's just one workflow action that does all the different data formatting things.
I'd love to hear your next most interesting trick with Ops Hub to make the cost worth it.
Yeah. So, I mean, my next most favorite thing about Operations Hub is data sets. That one's in enterprise. And so that one, like, I'm always a little hesitant to demo it just because I know the leap to enterprise is a big leap for a lot of people. And I want to be real about that. But I mean, since you asked and nobody else has questions, I'm happy to show you just how fun data sets makes reporting things. So if we leave my workflow here, go to, man, I should have done this before I started screen sharing. My computer just, I don't know about anyone else. Zoom, slow down your computer. Is this just a me problem?
No, it's a Zoom thing.
Okay.
No,
Cool.
it's universal.
Anytime I'm trying to share an application like CRM tools, it always likes to fail.
Yeah. So this is what it looks like when you create a data set. And if you've ever used the custom report builder, the first step is basically the same. You select what objects you're going to be reporting on. You know, if you want contacts as your primary and then companies and then deals, you can just check the boxes. But already here in data sets, you're starting to get information that the custom report builder doesn't give you by default. For example, here's what it means that contacts is the primary data source. That means you're going to get every single contact in your entire database. And then companies and deals as secondary data sources, you're only going to get the ones that are related to contacts. So in this case, if you have a company that doesn't have any contacts associated to it, it's not going to appear in this table. Same with deals. If you have deals that are associated to companies but not to contacts, they're not going to be here. You're only getting the companies and deals that are associated with contacts. If you wanted all of your companies or if you wanted all your deals, then you should select them as the primary data source. So that's useful. And then down here at the bottom, you get a little preview of the table you're creating. And you can take a look at what information is here. And I mean, if you're selecting some of these more complicated things like web activities or you know, whatever complicated things you want, then this preview would start to be, I think, a little more helpful. But you just select the data you're interested in reporting on. And then this prepare tab is my favorite tab. It may be my favorite part of HubSpot at all right now, because I just think it's so cool how what you're going to do is basically, I guess I've got to think of, let's say we want, we'll pull over the deal amount. That's always good. Let's get the deal close date. How about, and when you build a report off of this data set, the properties you're selecting here are the only properties that'll be available. So instead of having that endless scroll of every single property in your CRM, you're just going to see these ones. Maybe we want to split this by, like, you know, company industry, and maybe we want to split it by, like, company like number of employees or something. I don't know. You can imagine the different things you might want to drag and drop in here, but depending on what you want. But the thing that's really cool is these formula fields you can create on the fly. So as I mentioned, like if you have some sort of benchmark, right? We just want to compare these against the number 200. You can do that, sure. And now we've got a benchmark field. But what's more fun are these functions you can use. So let's say date diff, right? We want to know how long. How about we want to know how long the deal was open? The deal, you know, I don't know what to call it. How long was the deal open? Fine, whatever. We can say we want to know the number of days between. Whoops, what did I just do? All right, sorry. The number of days between like the deal create date and the deal close date, and it'll just we have close date here, so we'll just grab that close date. And that will be calculated, and now we get a table, right? We can see how long each of these deals was open. And in the filters, we could go to the filters, we could add, we only want to see the deals that are closed won, or we only want to see the deals that are closed open or closed lost, or we want to see all the closed deals, whatever. But the formulas you can create here are pretty much limitless, right? We have if we want to do some conditionals, we could say, you know, if it was in this industry, we only want to see the like, we want to tier it in certain ways, or we want to label it somehow. There are a lot of different things you can do. The filters are just filters like you might expect. So we could say, like, we want deal stage, and we're gonna, let's see, drag this down here and say, you know, we want only our is any of our all closed won, right? So we're only gonna, this is for a report of our closed won deals. And then we're done. We have this custom table we've just created. We'll call this closed deals, and we could build a report off this. Click the build a report button, and we'll be taken into the custom report builder. But this time, instead of having that big, long, intimidating, confusing list of all of the properties, we have just these properties we selected and these ones we made up. Which now, if I'm a sales manager and I'm coming in to create a report about my deals, this feels much more manageable. I can choose which ones I want and which visualization I like, and generate a report pretty easily without having to dig through a million different ones. So this is another Operations Hub feature. I think it's super slick. Reporting, I think, is a pain point for a lot of people, and this gives you or somebody at your company the power to simplify the process a whole lot.
So are there canned reports that come with Operations Hub like the other?
I don't, ooh, that's a great question. I'm going to give that a
win.
Yeah, you win. I'm going to give that a very clear, I don't know. But if I had to guess, I don't think there are additional reports that come just with Operations Hub. I think our reports library is basically our reports library, and what's in there is available to everyone with access to it.
Fair enough. Debbie had a question that I was trying to dissect in the chat there, Kyle.
Cool. I'm going to stop sharing because I don't know how to share and see the chat at the same time.
It's hard.
Debbie, my friend, if you just want to unmute and tell me what your question is.
Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. It's been super insightful. So my question was from the team low code, no code audience. I've been seeing something about programmable emails. So for instance, let's say your client is a real estate company and it's got a list of clients with their budget range, and you want to send them like a weekly or a monthly email that have properties in their budget range. So what does that look like? Because, you know, when I see things like HubDB and, you know, all those capital letters, you know, I just think, oops, can I do that?
Yes. So programmable email, I will have to admit, is one I have not dug into a whole lot. Really anything that requires custom coding in a module is a bit outside of my my comfort zone. So that one I don't have a great answer for. I do know just at a basic level, and this is this feel free to call me on it if I'm totally avoiding your question here. But we've been doing a lot of hard work in the background to get the CMS and the CRM more closely connected, and we've opened up a lot of ways for you to like pull information from your objects put them into emails or onto websites, into your dynamic pages without having to use HubDB, they're just like modules that let you pull information from the objects and the properties inside your CRM, and use them in whatever piece of content you want. Programmable email, I believe, falls into that category. So taking it one step further, based on the individual you're emailing, you can say like, serve that if they have, these certain criteria, serve them up these certain pieces of data. And you start to get those much more personalized emails, like a recommended products based on your purchase history or something. But I have not played around with it enough myself to be able to tell you very confidently how to do it. So.
Yeah, excellent. Thanks, Kyle. One other thing, I've been looking for where I could get messy data. So I tend to work with clients on the education side, and I'm looking for where can I get like 10 applications all filled out, and so I could put it into like Ops Hub and just mess it up and fix it all back up. I'm looking for messy data.
I'm just happy to hear you say that, particularly because I know who you are. We are LinkedIn friends. I am actually working on a similar project, so let's connect offline, and maybe we will just have to make some messy data together, but then we can share it with each other and both benefit. Yes, let's talk more about that after this is over.
All right, excellent. Thanks, Kyle.
I have a question for you, Kyle.
Yeah.
So, and this is going back to the very top of your presentation about the deal board. So we have our deal columns and we have the percentages of likelihood associated to them. But sometimes a deal gets to a certain stage and like it fits the criteria to be in that stage, but you just know it's not going to close. It's not really an 80%, even though you've gone through the whole song.
Yeah.
What do you like? How
Is there a special icon for that?
Right.
Sort of. So actually,
those.
Here, let me let's see where. Okay, share my screen again here. Yeah. So there are a few ways to tackle this. So another thing in back to Sales Hub here, leaving Operations Hub behind. There's a forecasting dashboard that if you haven't spent any time playing around with, it's fantastic. It's called forecasting because it's meant to help you generate forecasts, obviously. But what it really is, what the heart of it is this a dashboard for a sales manager and a sales rep to have a conversation with each other and discuss individual deals and what needs to happen with them. So if we go to under sales, go to forecast, let's imagine I am a sales manager and I'm going to have a conversation with Kyle Jepson here, who is only 31% of the way to his quota on March 23rd, and that is very worrisome. So I click on his name, and what we have here is a list of his deals. We can see the total amount here and the total amount in each deal stage. We can see individual deals here. But what we can also look at is forecast category, which I think is sort of getting at what you want. These are customizable. You can rename them what you want, but what you're seeing here are the default categories we've created for deals. And so this is an additional layer on top of each, as you mentioned, each column in your deal pipeline has a percentage assigned to it. We're 80% certain that this is going to close. But what you can do here is add some color on top of that, right? Like this is my most likely deals. I am confident that they are going to close in this period. These are my best case deals, right? If a miracle happens, they will probably hopefully get across the line. These are commit deals. These are ones they're either well, here is closed one, that's separate, but commit, like I know for certain I am committing to this we can be sure at least this much is going to happen. And so without having to wiggle the deal from one stage to another, you can start having this way of communicating how certain you are that the deal is going to go the distance, because it happens, right? Like you get the deal to that 80% stage. And then if you're B2B, someone left the company, right? If you're B2C, something in their financial state changed and they're just not sure they're going to be able to make the purchase. These things happen, and it's not the fault of the sales rep. Sometimes it's the fault of the sales rep. It doesn't have to be, right? And despite following the process exactly, it just isn't gonna, you're not as confident as you were, or as confident as you would like to be based on where it is in the pipeline. And so that's a way to communicate that. That's the thing I'm pretty confident about. If we open a deal here, I believe, I vaguely remember seeing an update about this several months ago, but it could be I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure we have made it possible to, for an individual deal, edit its probability. So there's this deal probability property here, right? This is assigned based on the property it's in, or based on the stage it's in. So this deal is in my 90% stage, but yeah, look, I can edit this, right? So if forecasting, like, yes, it's in my 90% stage, but the reality is it's only 75% likely to close. I can update that on an individual deal. And now all of my reporting that looks at deal probability will be updated for this particular one. So
That is awesome. I did not know that. Thank you.
Oh, quick question. What is the number one takeaway from a frictionless standpoint, that whether it's HubSpot related or not HubSpot related, that everyone should be taking away, just from the top of your head and your expertise?
The most important thing is to align your sales process, your sales motion, your sales, every aspect of your sales team around what your buyer wants, what they need, right? If your sales process is designed and developed fully around your business goals and the revenue targets and the quota and the President's Club, that's not a really 21st century approach to sales. The best thing you can do is get a really good understanding of what problem you solve for your customers, why your best customers love you, and start building your sales process to match the natural journey that people go through to buy your solution. And so I would really say that's the most important thing, regardless of what software you're using. Certainly, we've designed HubSpot with the hope that we can help you do that in a way that makes sense, and then give you tools that accelerate that process and help your customers get to the end of the journey faster and easier and with less pain. But if you are misaligned with your buyers, as so many salespeople are, I mean, we started out with a story, right? Mr. Solar Salesman is not aligned with what his potential customers need. He has a fundamental misunderstanding of how people buy solar, but it's probably also just some kid on a summer internship or something. Like we can do better, right? We can if selling is helping, if selling is understanding, then that's what's going to lead to long-term success in the modern world. For me, that's the most important thing we could be talking about.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah.
Any last questions?
This hopefully is a softball for you, Kyle, but
Okay.
I thought this was changing in February, and so I was wrong. When is customizable lifecycle stages coming out, or is it still happening?
I did not know there was a thing that was being talked about outside of HubSpot. And that is something we were working on. I'm not closely related to that project, though it has me shaking in my boots a little bit because I'll have to change a lot of the education I have out in the world. But I feel confident saying that will be something we'll be trumpeting at Inbound, which should hopefully mean it'll be live and available before Inbound, at least in a beta. But I don't have a firm. The fact that you heard February means you're talking to someone who knows more about this than I do.
I thought I saw like a knowledge base about it, or like in the community forum. So maybe like my dates were wrong, but I thought it was something that was coming out in the spring.
Yeah, I mean, circle of trust here. We're all friends. It is something we're working on. We are going to give you the ability to customize your life cycle stages.
Okay. Have you been talking to Stefan? He has the answer. It's in the chat.
Oh
yeah, that's where I thought I saw it.
Man, look at that. It's on the developers site. Well, that's where you get the best information, I guess. Jacob, to answer your question, my daughter turned 6 on Sunday. So the picture of my wife and my kids being very cute at the beginning, that's like a 2, almost 3-year-old picture at this point. But my kids, I think they're getting cuter and cuter, but they're not getting more photogenic. Like that is the best picture we've ever taken. So it's going to continue to live in my presentations for a while.
I feel that pain so, so much. You can't get them all to smile at the same time.
Oh yeah, we tried taking a picture at Christmas time and no, just didn't work.
Our last picture on our last little road trip had my youngest, who's almost 4, with her mask and her baseball cap, so you literally couldn't see any part of her. But okay, can I have, yes, you already handed this screen share back. So if anybody has to jump, go ahead. We will send out a recap after. But I did just want to ask everybody if you can hit the feedback survey. That's how we get your ideas for our future topics. And I put the link to this in the chat, so it's easier to copy and paste. We do have our very next hug already scheduled, and the topic for that is building a sales enablement content plan that works. So that is exciting. And I lost my chat window. The HubSpot puzzle, if you haven't gotten your HubSpot puzzle yet, there is the link to it in the chat. Bye, Kyle, thank you. I'll thank him later. And our random attendee, I set up this wheel and I'm going to spin it.
Oh, these are great. I've used these before.
And Sasha, is Sasha still here?
Hello,
Here.
Yay! She's
Hi,
here.
Sasha.
She's the
What
big
did I
winner.
just won? Like I missed everything.
There's a recording.
You
There's
missed
a
everything, but you're the
recording,
big
but you
winner.
just won a $50 gift card.
Oh, that's so cool.
Shelby will reach out to get your email address so we can get that to you. And our winner for the best question, or in this case, the best questions today, who's going to get a Powerhouse Pass to Inbound 22 is Debbie.
Yay, Debbie.
Yay, Debbie.
So thank you everybody for coming. Everybody's questions were fantastic today. I learned a lot. And we will see you again on April 26th.
Thanks for putting this on.
Of course. Thank you.